who are you? Exactly.
In episode 2 of His Dark Materials, we learn that Mrs. Coulter is able to separate pretty far from her demon.
He can separate from her.
Now do you see why I don't trust them?
Mrs. Coulter, how are you able to be so far away from your demon?
She has this ability, the ability to separate from the golden monkey in the books as well.
It's too painful.
I'm not.
But separating from one's demon is not normal. Humans in this story are not supposed to be able to separate from their demons, because demons are their souls.
It's not natural.
For the characters in Lyra's world, seeing someone without his or her demon is like seeing someone without a head.
I could never be that far away from you, Lyra. What is she?
I don't know, Pan, but we need to find out.
So how does Marissa Coulter do it? In this video, we're going to present one option. Proceed with caution though, because in this video, we are going to mention stuff from all 3 books. Most of it's pretty general, some cool information actually. It won't ruin anything for you, even if you've only seen season 1 or read book 1. But there is one major spoiler in here. We're going to mention the type of animal that Pantalaimon eventually settles as. So if that's a concern, my apologies, but please close out. Alright, Mrs. Coulter and the Golden Monkey are unique. They have the power of separation, which begs the question, how can they do it?
What is she?
Over the years, some book readers have wondered if Mrs. Coulter is really a witch, even if she does not realize that she's a witch. That was my first instinct as well, because witches have the power of separation. So let's take a step back. What is a witch? We don't know exactly, but we do know that female witches are able to bear children with human men. If that child's a female, then that child's a witch. And if the child is male, then the child is a human. So check this out, it's really sad. Witches live a very long time, whereas their male lovers and their male sons don't. So try stepping into a witch's shoes for a minute. Think about that. Think about how emotionally draining it must be on witches. They have human lovers and sons that come and go in a blink of an eye to them. Pretty sad. But back on track. The point is, it is possible that Marissa Coulter is a witch, because we don't have too many details about her parents. And if Marissa's mother was a witch, then she is one too. And if so, that would also imply that Lyra is a witch, because the female children of witches are also witches. So I dug for some clues to support that, and there are actually a lot of lines that may be clues as to Lyra being a witch. First and foremost, Ma Costa tells Lyra that Lyra may pass for Egyptian with practice, but there's more to them than Egyptian language. There's deeps in them and strong currents. They are water people all through, and Lyra is not. Ma Costa goes on to tell Lyra that Lyra's a fire person, most like marsh fire in the Egyptian scheme. And here's the kicker. Clue number 1. Ma Costa tells Lyra that she has witch oil in her soul. What Ma Costa is actually referring to is Lyra's ability to deceive. Nothing more than that. But considering the fact that witches can separate from their demons, it makes you wonder if that witch oil in your soul comment was a subtle clue to Lyra being a witch. And if so, that would imply that Mrs. Coulter is a witch, and that might explain how she has the power to separate. Let's continue. On their journey north, when the Egyptians and Lyra pit stop at the witch consulate in Trollosan, the witch consul tests Lyra to see if she's the child of great destiny that the witches have talked about for centuries.
Down here are many sprigs of cloud pine. Show us, which one is Seraphina Pekkala's?
And she did just so.
This one's hers.
She was able to pick out the cloud pine that had been used by the witch whom we all love by now, Seraphina Pekkala. After Lyra picked out Seraphina's cloud pine, at least in the books, she held it above her head and jumped and ran in the snow, trying to be a witch. So that might also be a clue, clue number 2. But it's not enough, because think about it. What kid wouldn't do that? What kid wouldn't pretend to be a witch if he or she was holding a witch's magical pine, right? And also, clue number 1 against. The witch consul explicitly told Lyra that Seraphina was able to fly with that cloud pine because Seraphina is a witch, but Lyra is not. But who knows? maybe he's wrong. Maybe Lyra is a witch and he just doesn't know it. Let's keep going. Later in book 1, Lyra told her demon Pantalaimon that she wished she was a witch so that they could separate. So Pan could go off and find Yorick Bjornsson and take messages to him to make a proper plan before he showed up and got his ass kicked by that huge king, Iofur Ragnarsson.
And I wish I was a witch. That way you could fly off and see if my father is here.
So, if you count Lyra's desire to be a witch as a clue, then we've got 3 so far. Ma Costa told Lyra that she has witch oil in her soul. Lyra ran around pretending to be a witch, and Lyra literally told Pan that she wished she was a witch. And Lyra's not the only one that wished she were a witch. There's a witch queen who you haven't met yet in the show, the queen of the Lake Lubana clan. Her name is Ruta Skadi. Hopefully we see her in season 2. Ruta Skadi was once one of Lord Asriel's lovers. What a player. At one point in the story, Ruta tells Serafina Pekkala that if she had borne Lyra, what a witch she would be. A queen of queens. Let's count that as clue number 4, and there's more. In the final book of the trilogy, The Amber Spyglass, Lyra states that she is not a witch, so there's that, clue number 2 against this hypothesis. But, just like the witch console, Lyra could be wrong. Maybe she just does not know that she's a witch. However, there's one big problem with this hypothesis. One reason that might be proof that neither Lyra nor Marissa Coulter are witches. Witches' demons are always birds. Why? Because witches fly. It makes sense, right? Well, check this out. Clue number 5. At one point in the future, Pantalaimon is in the form of a bird, and he asks Serafina Pekkala if he is going to end up settling as a bird. Interesting. Very interesting. But not really, because Pantalaimon does eventually settle, and he does not settle as a bird. And Mrs. Coulter's demon has already settled as the golden monkey. So neither of their demons settled as birds, which means most likely neither Marissa nor Lyra are witches. We've got 5 clues for and 3 against, but this last one, it seems to be the strongest of them all. Or is it? Let's take a step back and play devil's advocate. Remember that story we went over in the last His Dark Materials video about the sailorman whose demon settled as a dolphin? That conversation was pretty similar to another one that we went over a few weeks ago in the Witch, the Aeronaut, and Fate vs. Free Will video. Check that out if you haven't seen it. I mean, I could be wrong, but I think that's my best His Dark Materials video to date. But long story short, Lee Scoresby's an aeronaut, so you would think that Lee Scoresby loves flying, right? But nope, he doesn't. At least, not in the way that witches do. That's why his demon, his soul, settled as an Arctic hare, not a bird. Whereas, according to Serafina Pekkala, who is a witch, quote, a witch would no sooner give up flying than give up breathing. To fly is to be perfectly ourselves. That's why witches, their souls end up being birds, and that sailorman, his soul was a dolphin. Lyra and her mother, their demons are not birds, so you would think that they're not witches. But neither Marissa nor Lyra grew up with witches, so flying was never part of their lifestyle. Their lives may have just gone a different direction than witches, and thus, their souls have gone a different direction as well. In other words, let's be careful before jumping to conclusions, because we do have these 5 clues to suggest that Lyra is a witch. And that first one was strong, witch oil in her soul. And if Lyra is a witch, then Marissa Coulter is also a witch. And if so, that would explain how she has the power of separation. Kind of, but not really. Because the reason that witches can separate from their demons, that's a little more complicated than simply because they're witches. And second, there may be a much deeper, a much cooler reason from a storytelling perspective as to why Marissa Coulter has the power of separation, or rather, how she obtained it. We're going to explore that in the next His Dark Materials video, because in that one, we're going to be diving deep into all the books, including the books that happen before the main trilogy, as well as the book that happens after the main trilogy. So I figured it's best to split that out from this one. Hope to see you there, though. I'll talk to you.